This is an interesting little bit that's come across. Apparently, New York, Hawaii, California, New Jersey, and Vermont are the 5 least free places in the United States. Not sure this should really be a shock. It's because basically the general authoritarianness of these states is they're going to thought police and control everybody and so on and so forth. This is definitely, for the most part, far left strongholds, really part of the overall divide in the United States. This is courtesy of a site I'll link to down in the description. This is actually a pretty useful tool because they didn't half-ass this. Basically this is largely looking at 3 factors. Basically, the inherent map that gives these rankings and puts these states so low is based on 3 factors: fiscal liberty, personal freedom, and regulatory freedom. Now, the results aren't exactly identical if you start singling these individual characteristics out. If you look at fiscal freedom, the map's a little different. Some of the same states are on the top. The bottom states change a little bit, but those 5 offenders are still pretty low on the index. When you start getting into the personal freedom index, it shifts a little bit. In some cases it goes 180. New York still isn't coming out very good. It's still in the bottom 10. But it's overall, this is a very interesting tool. What I like about this tool most is you can actually personalize it, and basically say, do you care more about fiscal freedom, which is basically, are you taxed? What are your local taxes? Basically, how much of the economy does your government eat up? So on and so forth. They've got all the regulatory red tape in there, so you can, really say, well, we care about this, we don't care about this, or so on and so forth. So, kind of personalize it to what you actually value in terms of freedom. The Personal Freedom Index was actually done very well. It includes everything from incarceration rates to guns to basically what is it illegal for you to do regarding gambling, marriage, exercising your First Amendment rights, education levels, what there's prohibitions or not prohibitions against, what assets you ultimately own versus can be forced to forfeit to the state, so on and so forth. This really is a well thought out index and study, and it's very telling. And if you go play around with this, it really highlights the just disparaging divide in the United States on how, as you go across the 50 states, there is a spectrum, and there's just night and day mentalities about whether people should be allowed to have liberty to do things or basically be controlled like sheeple. And depending which one of these 3 factors, whether the overall balance of them is most important to you, or if one of those 3 factors is most important to you, there's a great disparity in the United States. Incredibly so. And that's really one of the things that's dividing us a lot in the United States right now. We have no patience for how the other side lives. And that was so not the framework how our governmental system was written. We had the 10th Amendment for a reason, but that is very much where we are right now. But on a lot of level, I really wish we'd go back to this. I don't live in these states that are anti-freedom. I don't live in them because they're anti-freedom. I try and avoid them because they're anti-freedom. I respect the rights of the people who want to live in them and want to live like that to live in them, but I don't live in them. I've lived, for the most part, in states which, for the most part, rank pretty high. Hi, everyone. You made it to the end of the video. Congratulations! Almost no one does. At least that's what the analytics say here on YouTube. Since you made it this far, you might want to consider going one more click and expanding that description down there and go ahead and clicking over to Patreon and become a patron and contributor. If not, you'll also find it over in the channel page. But hey, regardless, there's this like-dislike thing, so by all means, downvote if you think I should shut up, or upvote if you'd like to hear more. And if you really feel inclined to do, at least you can do a subscribe. But hey, it's up to you.